Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today, we are going to be covering the Golden Globe nominations and the Critic Choice nominations. They are two major award precursors. And so I thought that it would be a good time to do kind of an MG special episode where we cover this a little bit more in depth, because if we added it to our usual Let's Be Real episode, then that podcast is probably going to be like 2 hours. And that's not really fun for anybody. I don't want to listen to myself for 2 hours. I don't want to listen to Nan for 2 hours. I don't want to listen to Kyan for 2 hours. But I'm sitting down here with Kyan right now. He's joining me for this one. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate.
Not bad. Yep. That is good. So we're just going to pretty much dive straight into the Golden Globe nominations first. So they were announced on Monday morning, and depending on how much you kind of know about the award precursors, they are, I don't know if significance is the right word, but they play a part in... They
play a part. As a combined, combination of all of them, they play a major. Yeah. As a individual, they play a loose.
Yeah. And now, I guess the last few years of the Golden Globes have been rocky for them because, they lost their place on the TV network and facing a lot of criticism and all that kind of stuff. And they have a category in this which kind of just makes them more of the laughing stock if they weren't already off the awards. But we'll start off straight away. So we're just going to start from the, low important categories and we'll get to the big ones at the very end. Okay, so first one we got for Best Original Song. So we got Addicted to Romance in the movie She Came to Me. We got Dance the Night in Barbie. I'm Just Ken in Barbie. Peaches in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Road to Freedom in Rustin. And What Was I Made For in Barbie as well. So Barbie is taking up half that category there. Addicted to Romance in the movie She Came to Me. I've never even heard that movie till now, so...
Nor did I.
I have no comment on that. Dance the Night, I think, is just... It's a really, really bad pick, and I hope this doesn't translate to an Oscar nomination, because, let's be real, that song is literally just a pop song.
Yes.
It plays no part in the movie, unlike I'm Just Ken. Because I'm Just Ken, I didn't know if they would go for it, if they would bite onto that kind of song, because it's just... it's meta, it's silly, but it also plays a part in terms of that character as well. Peaches, it's another goofy choice. It just seems like it's a really weak year if these songs are getting nominated. Road to Freedom for Rustin, I know that's going to be quite a powerful and moving film, so it's not surprising that it has a really strong backing song there. What Was I Made For? I think that is clearly going to be the front runner for this, because not only is it, a good song, it plays in probably the most pivotal part of Barbie.
Yeah,
it's in a really powerful moment as well. So it's part of storytelling and it's a part of the film, unlike Dance the Night. So I think that is going to be, it's probably the best bet here for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's probably the one that I would choose if I was on the Critics' Choice Awards. Not Critics' Choice,
Globes.
I was a voter on the Globes. It's the one I would choose. And Super Mario Brothers, you can't help but feel the sort of Trolls energy, Justin Timberlake energy from any of these.
My feeling.
Anytime you see it, you're just sort of okay, this is just them trying to capitalize on it as much as possible.
100%. Fun fact though, if Billie Eilish carries on through to the Oscars and she wins an Oscar, she will be the youngest person to have 2 Oscars. Crazy, yeah.
2 Oscars, yeah.
Because she won for the song in No Time to Die.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know how old. I think she's 21, 22.
Yeah, she's quite young.
Yeah. So that would be pretty impressive.
That would be impressive though. She's taking that the front runner there, and who was the youngest? I think it's Anna Paquin still, maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
We'll move on now to Best Original Score. So we got Daniel Pemberton, who did Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Jerskin Fendrix for Poor Things, Joe Hisashi for The Boy and the Heron, Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer, Mika Levy for The Zone of Interest, and Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm yet to see Poor Things, so that's the one that I'm missing out of. But all of these are. Oh, I haven't seen Zone of Interest as well. Hopefully, can get to see that one soon. But yeah, everything from Killers, Oppenheimer, Boy in the Heron, and Spider-Verse, they were all very amazing when it comes to score. The Boy in the Heron was probably the most surprising because I was watching that movie and I'm like, wow, the score is really, really good here. And it's one of those ones where I'm like, okay, I have to listen to that again. So, I've listened to the whole thing after watching the movie. Because,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was just moving.
It's magical, isn't it?
Yeah. And Oppenheimer and Spider-Verse, they are ones that I've explored after the film's ended as well. Killers, not so much, but Killers is one of those scores for me that just kind of, they feel and fit perfectly for the movie.
Yeah, it's creating a mood for it.
Yeah, it's not really one where you like go and jam to afterwards,
Yeah.
So I think these are great selections here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Ludwig has as strong as a position here as he did with Tenet. Surprisingly, for me,
Did
I
Tenet
think
win?
It didn't.
It didn't.
I don't think.
Yeah.
But I think Tenet for me has a more memorable place in my brain.
Interesting.
Would you agree?
I don't know. I've seen lots of things on like Twitter about which Ludwig Nolan score is the best one. I would probably go with Oppenheimer. I think
okay.
Maybe because the movie's just better that I kind of like it more. But I think I've listened to Oppenheimer or have a better appreciation for it afterwards.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might just be my oversaturation of memes surrounding Tenet.
Oh yeah,
you really do ingest a lot of these scores through memes, particularly Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how many times I've heard the riff.
Yeah.
in Across the Spider-Verse.
But did you like that score enough for it to be worthy of a nomination?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I love this score. I thought it was fantastic.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So best screenplay, one of a big one here. I don't think Globes actually divide by original or adapted. Clearly not. So for best screenplay, we got Celine Song, who wrote Past Lives, Christopher Nolan, who wrote Oppenheimer, Eric Roth and Martin Scorsese, who wrote Killers of the Flower Moon, Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, who wrote Barbie, Tony McNamara, who wrote Poor Things, and Justin Triet and Arthur Harari, who wrote Anatomy of a Fall. So this is one I have not seen everything because I still get to see Poor Things.
It's hard to do this because Poor Things is such a major contender this year. It's in the top 3. It's between that Oppie and Killers.
Yeah,
and it makes everything hard to make a judgment on.
Yeah, when you haven't seen the last one.
Correct.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard about it, I don't know if Poor Things stands a chance to win above these other ones here. Just because, it's such a stacked category. I'm surprised Barbie made it when you're combining both categories because the Holdovers, I'm very surprised that this did not get a nomination. I think it absolutely deserved it. You obviously know Anatomy of a Fall. We both love that script just beyond the entire story, but like just its dialogue and how it balances that out. I think it's really, really good. But in terms of what I think has the best chance here, it's probably Killers of the Flower Moon for me. Mind you, I don't know if I'm saying that's the best or not. I really don't know which one can come out on top here. It's going to be very interesting, I think, on the screenplay side of things.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that the dark horse possibly being Celine Song.
That would be interesting.
I really don't know if Nolan stands a chance here. I just think that there could be a cadence to his writing that the voters are maybe a bit averse to. But at least for me, when I do watch a Nolan film and it's written by Nolan, you can very much tell it's written by Nolan by just the way the characters are written.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for Nolan.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that works in his favor or not when it comes to award season in a category like this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not sure on Oppenheimer's chances. I know he's definitely going to be up there because he's nominated in a category like this where adapted and original are combined. But yeah, there are definitely ones missing here, the Holdovers being one of them. Watch that one soon because I think the screenplay is definitely one of the best for the year. All right, so Best Director Motion Picture. Damn, we're getting some good ones quite early on here. So we got Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Celine Song for Past Lives, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Greta Gerwig for Barbie, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, and Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things.
Can I just say, imagine being Celine Song and being in these categories of directors right here. Bradley Cooper, Christopher Nolan, Greta Gerwig, Martin Scorsese, Yorgos Lanthimos. Yeah. Imagine being in that category with them.
Isn't it crazy? Like just a few months ago, we saw Past Lives with her in the audience and attended that Q&A, and she just doesn't give off that vibe of like, an A-list director because she's so new to the business and the industry.
Yeah, she's very fresh to it.
And now look at her, she's in this category with these kind of caliber of directors.
Yeah, I wish her all the best. We have seen this before though, with these fresh directors they come in with a powerful moving project. Yeah. And it's really the preceding movies that paint your picture as a career director.
Yeah. But I do wish her all the best as well. She has a lot of potential there, I think. Bradley Cooper from Maestro. I talked to you about this just before we started the potty. My thoughts on Maestro. If I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie, and if I had to credit Bradley Cooper's many roles in playing the part of making that movie a reality, I would say the acting's the best. Directing is the second best. I think the writing is his weakest part of this. The direction, I think, is very good here. It's just the script doesn't bring it all together. Okay. He's very creative, and it's a very artistic vision that he has. It's something that you don't see. It's like a kind of a Spielberg, Scorsese, but without the polish. Yeah. So he's got
polish makes it though.
He's got it in him, but it's a second movie, so I think it's still a great achievement, and I think he deserves the recognition to be nominated, but not the win. Okay. Because the win has to be the entire project has to be together. That's the job of the director. For me, it's going to be between Christopher Nolan and Martin Scorsese.
That's the only answer here.
I think that's
the only answer here.
That's how it's going to be for the entire way.
I'm not worried about Yorgos. I think it's inevitable he's going to get an Oscar at some point.
100%.
For throughout his career. Whether it's for this or something else, it'll be something. Yeah. It'll be something.
Definitely. But yeah, no, I don't know who's going to win director. I've said early on, I think it's Nolan for director and Killers of the Flower Moon for picture. It could go either way. And there's two ways to look at it. Nolan, you could look at it as he's overdue for a directing Academy Award. Or Scorsese, who's at the age now where he's not going to be making much more movies, sadly. And he's only won one Best Director in his life. So maybe the kind of the last chance to give him kind of his due there.
If Greta Gerwig wins Best Director, let me just say this, Barbie will sweep. It will sweep. Like if she wins Best Director, then there's nothing holding Barbie back from sweeping. Yeah, I mean for some reason.
It is funny because before I looked at the Critics' Choice Award nominations this morning, I read a tweet saying Barbie could very well be the villain of this award season. Compared it to another movie, but I'm like, yeah, because it's clearly dominating these nominations talking about. It got 18 nominations in the Critics' Choice. Maybe it carries that really strong buzz and is the front runner as we go into the Oscars.
So it's a villainistic because it's a box office success or because it's a heavily studio-led production?
Because I would say, in my opinion, because the movie is fairly mixed in terms of, I guess, reception or that it doesn't come close to something like Oppenheimer or Killers of the Flower Moon or Poor Things or The Zone of Interest or Past Lives. That's the villainistic aspect of it. It's where that kind of like a Green Book, that high 80% thing that just comes through and
I think Green Book is maybe more an example of like Oscar bait film that really didn't do anything new. I think Barbie does do something new. I think it is different, but I think it's maybe like, for example, Oppenheimer it's a studio production. It's $1 billion movie, basically.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon. What was that? Apple TV? Was it? No.
Apple TV crossed with Paramount Pictures.
Yeah, this is a Beverly Studio made production. These are all studio productions and in no way different to Barbie.
Yeah.
Maybe even a lower budget than Barbie. High budget, shall I say.
Yeah.
And really, I don't really know what would make it villainistic other than it maybe just sweeping and taking credit from...
Yeah, that's what would make it a villain. There's other worthy opponents out there.
Right.
Where it's like, not just like, depends on your opinion. It just feels like so compelling for Killers, for Poor Things, for Oppenheimer.
It would feel robbed for it to come in and just take all these awards. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Especially on such a stacked year. I think that would give it a villainistic and I don't entirely agree with it, but I think Maestro and Barbie are both villains in this kind of award season. Well, they're not fully deserving of all this credit, but we'll see what they can do by the time we get to the Oscars.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Next one we got is Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture. So we got Charles Melton in May, December, Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, Willem Dafoe in Poor Things, Ryan Gosling in Barbie, and Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer. This is basically how I would have predicted it. The two Poor Things guys, the two Roberts from Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, Ryan Gosling and Charles Melton taking it out. What do you think from what you've seen? Because I think Ryan, Robert Downey Jr. and Charles Melton are leading this race now. Because I haven't heard anything about De Niro.
You see, I'm actually very happy to hear that Charles Melton is, because I would not at all be... feel bad if Charles Melton won.
Neither.
Even over Robert Downey, though I think that Robert Downey did a phenomenal job of that character.
Yeah.
If Charles Melton won, I'd be like, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Gosling, it's a hard one.
It is a hard one. Yeah.
It is a hard one. On the one side, it's like he is playing a relatively... He's playing a character quite different to what he typically does. It's quite a diverse character.
Yeah.
Joker is quite a bright character, isn't he?
I mean, he's bright towards the end, but he's still kind of in that Oscar.
He's in that Oscar territory, yeah. But Ken, I don't think that there's anything wrong with a Ken being nominated here. I'm not going to high horse it at all. Yeah. I think all genres should be accepted into this, even if it's bright pink and colourful and all that.
Yeah, I'm not against Ryan being in this. I think he probably had the best performance of the entire film. And I do think it deserves recognition. But when it comes to the win, I think that's different.
I do agree.
Yeah, and for me, it is between Downey Jr. and Melton. Mm-hmm. The more I think about Melton, the more I love that performance, because it's such a... that character is very unconventional, and I think it's very hard to pull off.
It is,
because it's it's based on a real person, and for a person to go through that and to show the subtlety in that performance, and then kind of have those moments where they kind of break out, it's very hard to do.
That subtlety is almost invisible, but you can almost if you look hard enough, you can see behind him. Yeah, because you can see beyond it.
Yeah, we don't know the backstory of the character when we first meet him, but there's something that's just different.
Something off about him.
Yeah, and then we figure it out, and we're like, and it just kind of clicks. I think the performance is magnificent.
Yeah.
But Downey Jr. is equally just as good, but it is a conventional Oscar kind of role.
It is. Yeah, he's very much like black and white villain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hiding in the shadows.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture. So we got Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple, Davine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, Jodie Foster in Yad, Julianne Moore in May, December, and Rosamund Pike in Saltburn. I don't know why Rosamund Pike's nominated. Her role's fine. It's not really like a, oh my God, it deserves recognition kind of thing. Not in my eyes, at least. Danielle Brooks, I think it's excellent. A well-rounded performance and a really good supporting role. Davine Joy Randolph, who seems to be getting every Critics Circle award right now. she's really good in the role, but she's not in the movie enough for me to be like...
I think I heard you say that. You were saying like she's hardly in it.
Yeah, she has like the moment, but like it's very short, and I just wish we got so much more of her because what she did before that is really good. I just don't think it was enough to get to earn this kind of recognition.
Danielle Brooks, how often
she plays a pretty significant part in the movie throughout. And the character goes through a whole transformation.
Okay. But it's not a what is it called in the Heights? What was it? Who was the supporting actress who won for In the Heights?
Did they win?
I think they won the Oscar.
Oh wow!
Absolutely, like phenomenal performance.
In the Heights, not West Side Story.
It could be West Side Story. You know, it's hard to. I'm pretty sure it was In the Heights.
Otherwise,
no, it must have been West Side Story.
Must have been West Side Story.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, I think that's fine. That's more of a safe pick for me. I don't think her performance had much. I think she's just a good performer in a great movie.
Ariana DeBose, yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
So was it like at that level of like supporting role where it was like
they're fairly significant? I don't know. I don't know how to compare it, but significantly more than Davine Joy Randolph for me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. At least I felt that from the performance. And Julianne Moore in May December, honestly, might be my pick here. Perhaps aside Danielle Brooks, I think Julianne Moore.
I agree. Yeah.
She's really, really good. There's a lot of nuance to that role.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much. It very. She's a contemporary to Charles Melton's role. In a way, there's this surface character that you see and that she portrays herself as, and then there's something behind it that you almost you sense it. You sense a little bit of something.
Yeah,
a darkness.
No, for sure, and it's just like. Yeah, I don't know, just so much subtlety to it, and even the language of the character having kind of that lisp to them, she just pulls it off so well. And I was like, I started to believe that Julianne Moore had a lisp, and it was just coming into the performance.
She's a completely different human being.
Yeah,
in it. She doesn't resemble Julianne Moore at all.
Yeah, she's really compelling. All right, so next one we'll go to now is best performance by a male actor in a motion picture. Musical or comedy. All right, so we got Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction. We got Joaquin Phoenix in Beau is Afraid.
Beau?
Yeah. Beau?
Yeah.
Okay. Matt Damon in Air. Nicolas Cage in Dream Scenario. Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers. And Timothée Chalamet in your favorite movie, Wonka. This is a very interesting one. I haven't seen Dream Scenario. Beau is Afraid, American Fiction, but I have seen Wonka, The Holdovers in Air. Paul Giamatti, it's his to lose. I do not see any other situation where anyone loses that because Paul Giamatti is
he's
fantastic.
The sole winner here, right?
Yeah, he should easily take that. He's so good. But Timothée Chalamet I think it's a nice surprise because it is musical comedy, and Timothée Chalamet is pretty good in Wonka.
He is, you know, like for the apprehension one could have for seeing him in the trailers, he actually does a pretty good job, all things considered.
Yeah, it's more of the script that's the drawback, not so much him.
Yeah. It's really character writing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Matt Damon in Air, though, I think it's fine. It's really a slapstick performance, nothing special.
Right. He funnily enough, plays so many, like, even when he's playing a serious role, it's ever so slightly comedic.
Yeah.
There's a comedic hue to it.
Yeah, I don't know. He just kind of like
even with Interstellar, you know, he plays as man. There's something funny about it. I don't know why.
I think it's just him. Like even Oppenheimer, he's kind of just like I don't know. He just exudes like some kind of like.
It's like he's got this like shit-eating grin behind everything. That you can't help but smile a little bit.
So he's always going to be in the musical comedy section for these.
Yeah.
All right. So we got best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, musical comedy. We have Alma Poisey in Fallen Leaves. That's a joke. Emma Stone in Poor Things. Fantasia Barrino in The Color Purple. Jennifer Lawrence for No Hard Feelings. Margaret.
Excuse me?
I'm trying. I'll get to it. Margaret Robbie in Barbie and Natalie Portman in May December. Ignore the Fallen Leaves one because that's irrelevant. I'm not going to go into detail about that one. Emma Stone, I've heard is amazing. I sadly have not seen Poor Things, so I cannot judge here. Fantasia Barrino, she is fantastic as well. Such a compelling performance. But I don't think she has enough momentum or buzz to really get the win here. I'm just not feeling it. Natalie Portman, I would say, is the clear-cut best from what I've seen here.
Yes.
But again, I don't think she has that momentum.
But it's hard to say without seeing Emma Stone and Poor Things.
Yeah, Emma Stone might be better. But I do think Emma Stone's going to get the win.
They have said that it's possibly her career best.
I have heard that, which is crazy to believe, right?
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence for No Hard Feelings. Have you seen that movie?
I've seen it.
You have?
It's just Jennifer Lawrence.
It's the beach scene.
That's the only reason. Because she flips out on the beach and takes her shirt off.
Takes all her clothes off. We get the whole front and back there. I don't know if her performance I don't even know if the movie. It's just your standard kind of.
It's just very
R-rated comedy.
Yeah, it's cut and dry R-rated comedy.
I would never have expected to see it. I remember I had to do a double take. I'm like, oh shit, she got nominated here. But it is musical comedy, and if they are going to stick by musical and comedy, then I'm not too mad at it.
Maybe they just ran out of options and they're like, well, there wasn't that many. I mean, there aren't many comedies released in a year, right?
Well, if they've run out of options, then they've run out of two options because Alma Poisey for Fallen Leaves is nominated as well.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I would much rather have seen Jennifer Lawrence play that role again rather than...
I'd put Alma above Jennifer Lawrence. To be honest, at least Alma had like somewhat of a sort of like grounded, layered performance.
I guess so.
Yeah, even if it is very like it's made to be very like dry comedy.
No one could ever make me watch Fallen Leaves ever again. Like there is nothing I wouldn't do to not watch that movie again. I don't want to talk about it.
Fallen Leaves 2. Gotta see it, the trilogy.
No, God. You're killing me here. All right, we have to move on now. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, and this is for the drama category. It's annoying that Golden Globes split their categories by drama, musical, or comedy. There's so many more genres to film, and they have to like shoehorn these other.
It's so weird that they just have genres.
Yeah,
like what?
I don't get
it.
It doesn't make sense. Just have 10 nominees or 12 nominees.
So it would mean that if The Shining released today, then Jay Nicholson wouldn't get nominated because it's a horror.
Yeah, he's not eligible for either.
Yeah, sorry, that's not a drama.
But they would shoehorn it into the drama. It's like The Martian being a comedy because they had a couple of funny one-liners. Another Matt Damon comedy movie, by the way. So,
God, how is May December a comedy?
I don't know. I didn't realize that tonight. That's not a comedy at all.
It's not even remotely a comedy. It's pure drama.
It's not a musical. Yeah, that is a drama movie. I don't know. Okay, otherwise, the nominees for Best Male Actor in a Drama Motion Picture, we got Andrew Scott for All of Us Strangers, Barry Keoghan for Saltburn, Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, and Leonardo DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon. The Flower Moon. Barry Keoghan getting nominated. The cum guzzler himself. He got nominated. You have to see it.
It's a Saltburn reference, is it?
It is a Saltburn reference.
I see.
I'm fine with Barry Keoghan getting nominated. I think that movie comes out, Amazon Prime in about a week. Watch that movie. I'm really interested in your take on it. Otherwise, I think, Bradley Cooper, Cillian Murphy, Coleman Domingo, and Leonardo DiCaprio. I think they'll be nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars alongside Paul Giamatti as well. I just don't know who takes it here.
I think Cillian does.
You think Cillian does?
I think Cillian does. I think Cillian's the, in my opinion, he has to be the favorite this year for Best Actor. I don't think any other actor here really. I mean, I have not seen Killers, so I cannot judge Leonardo DiCaprio's performance. But I have heard some people mention that it is. It's not Leo's best role, but it is a great role.
It's a really good role.
Yeah,
you've kind of seen him do it before.
Yeah, I've personally not seen any other actor this year really embody a character in the male category.
Yeah.
More than Killian has.
Yeah, see, I don't even think he's the best one here. From what I've seen, yeah, I would say Bradley Cooper's better than Killian because the performance he captures Leonard Bernstein in all aspects of his life, from the young adult to the old man. He goes through that transformation. I think he's really, really good. I think Leo is neck and neck with him. I think probably Paul Giamatti might be my favorite.
Oh wow,
yeah,
but he is a lead, right?
So who?
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, he is a lead.
Okay.
And he'll be going for lead. But when it comes to this category here, I'm fine for Killian taking it. Honestly, yeah, good for him. I think he does deserve it. But I think there's a compelling case for some other actors here. Still yet to see Andrew Scott and Coleman Domingo.
I see Coleman Domingo popping up a lot here.
Yeah.
So Rustin might be another one to tick off.
I think that's on Netflix now. So that's one I have to watch soon too. All right, moving on to Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Motion Picture. This is the drama category. So we got Annette Bening for Inyad, Kaylee Spaney for Priscilla, Carey Mulligan in Maestro, Greta Lee in Past Lives, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, and Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall. I would say, obviously, Golden Globes splits everything, but Best Actress is the most stacked category, perhaps, of the Oscars, because Carey Mulligan, Lily Gladstone, Sandra Hüller. Who else we have? We have Natalie Portman as well. There's so many great performances. I don't see Priscilla until next Wednesday, so I can't speak on that, or Inyad as well. But Carey Mulligan wins it for me. Lily Gladstone's great as well. Lily Gladstone's really, really good. It's a hard one, but
I've heard Lily Gladstone's amazing.
She is. I think it's such a good performance because it carries the emotional weight is all on that character and what she does with it. And so she has to hold so much on her own, and I think she just does a really good job for it. My only thing and I've always been saying this for this year, is she's a supporting actress.
And it's a shame because I don't know why I would get this impression that with Killers she would be a contemporary with Leo.
Yeah, Leo's far and away the lead. But yeah, I guess just because Lily Gladstone's character has such a big importance to the movie. So
is she like the thematic core to it?
Yeah, everything kind of runs through that character.
Yeah, that's what I get the impression
in terms of what you're meant to be feeling. But she's very good, so there's I have no issue with her winning this category as well. But I think Carey Mulligan and Sandra Hüller deserve an extra nod there. Yeah. What about Greta Lee in Past Lives for you? What do you think about her being in the running to get that nomination?
Yeah. With Past Lives, I don't know. I don't know if it was necessarily the performances that blew me away with that film. They play a very I could use the words like somber and muted, but I would probably say it's just realistic.
Yeah,
I mean that's just how people act.
Yeah,
like most people aren't very vibrant or as interesting as many of these characters on this list. But I would say it's not as challenging of a role as these others.
True.
I could see many other actresses pulling off what Greta Lee did here. I couldn't tell you that she's the only person that could have done this role. Yeah,
I would only say that. I mean, I really loved her in the role, and I wouldn't be mad if she got nominated. But I think it's the kind of those kind of final moments of the film, those big emotional moments where I think her role is probably at its best. Otherwise, I completely agree with kind of everything you're saying about that role.
I think it's all in the writing, to be honest. I think that's what really makes it the writing of that film.
No, definitely.
The way it's paced.
Yeah.
The pacing is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's just those how those feelings are left to sit. And the performances play a role, absolutely. But I don't think it's I don't think she provides something here that is necessarily like non-replicable.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll move on to Best Motion Picture. That's not in the English language. So we have Anatomy of a Fall, Fallen Leaves, which is a joke. I Capitano, Italian film. Past Lives, Society of the Snow, which is from Spain, and The Zone of Interest, which is the United Kingdom.
This is actually a very United Kingdom.
It's a UK submission, but spoken in the German language.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this when leading about the Oscars, because this one's a really hard category to talk about and how it affects the Oscars, because Anatomy of a Fall can't be nominated for Best International Feature at the Oscars because France decided to submit The Taste of Things and not Anatomy of a Fall.
That is insane.
I don't know why. It's bizarre to me.
Oh, and Anatomy of a Fall is a French film?
Pardon?
I would thought it would have been
it's French.
Something else. Swiss, German?
No.
Anything else. I think they speak everything but French in that. They speak English. They speak...
Isn't it French?
German?
Is it German?
Well, they speak Swiss German a lot.
No. I don't know, but it is it is a French film. Obviously, Fallen Leaves is Finland. Io Capitano, Italian. Past Lives? Oh, well, this is non-English language. So I don't think Past Lives is eligible for the Oscars. Society of the Snow is Spain. But it's just really strong lineup for, I guess, non-English language.
This is very, this is hard. I mean, aside from Fallen Leaves, of course. But between like Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, and Zone of Interest, that's very tight. I don't know who would win that. I mean,
because those three are in like the actual best motion picture category as well.
Yeah, and all of them have different like strengths as well in different areas, and like they're all excelling in different award shows.
Yeah,
like for one, it's like Zone of Interest is like absolutely sweeping. For another, it's like Past Lives is pushing up there, and like Anatomy of a Fall within the Golden Globes, you see that repeatedly.
Exactly.
Possibly the most alongside Past Lives.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see kind of what they give it to here. As long as Fallen Leaves doesn't win, I am satisfied with the winner. Society of the Snow, I've heard a lot of good things about, and I really do want to watch that.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Fuck.
The best category.
Okay, so we got cinematic and box office achievement.
What does this category even mean? Best money?
I got a reply on one of my tweets because I was like, I said exactly what you said. What does this even mean? And then someone sent me the paragraph that I think was a press release by Golden Globes explaining it. And it was like, or it's just the criteria to be eligible, that to make at least 100 million in the domestic market and 150 million worldwide.
Great. And so the Marvels?
Pardon? No, it hasn't made 100 million.
It has not?
Not domestically.
Not quite.
I don't think it will either.
How much has it made?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Disney stopped reporting it because it's horrific. Okay, so the nominees we got for cinematic and box office achievement, we got Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, John Wick Chapter 4, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. All right, so, I mean, let's break it down. So Barbie is an obvious candidate for this. A great film supported by an amazing box office return. So, yeah, it's cinematic and it's box office, I guess. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 did the same thing as well. John Wick 4, I think, did fine in terms of box office.
Mission Impossible, I thought, did shit.
It did do shit. 291 million budget, and I think it made 587. So it lost money.
It lost money for sure.
Because it's eligible and because it's a good movie. See, like, none of this is relative. And obviously Oppenheimer is great in terms of this. Taylor Swift, Super Mario Bros. And Across the Spider-Verse, they all did great box office wise. But Mission Impossible lost money. So it's not a box office achievement.
There's nothing they achieved there other than losses.
Yeah, and
well, they produced a good movie.
Yeah,
but it says here cinematic and box office achievement.
They are two different things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Cinematic achievement. Okay, what does that mean? Box office achievement's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Money, make, great. Yeah. Okay. Cinematic achievement. What did you achieve cinematically? What does that even mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you made great cinema.
Is it with a big budget? And it's like in like the premium formats, like IMAX and...
Are they talking about epicness?
3D? Yeah.
Like what is the criteria here to define cinematic achievement?
The only criteria I know of this category is the 100 million USD and 150 worldwide. But that's bullshit because Talk to Me made 20 times its budget.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't make the criteria, but it made 20 times its budget. If you ask me, that's a box office achievement. And A24 is certainly jumping up and down, celebrating. Also, The Sound of Freedom. I don't know if you heard much about that movie or its box office achievement. 16 times its budget.
Yeah.
And that got over 100 million USD and it got over 150 million worldwide.
Yeah.
So that's a massive box office achievement. It's better than any of these in terms of box office versus the budget. So what's the criteria here?
Well, exactly. And if you would say something like, what is the greatest box office achievement? So something like, say, Paranormal Activity. That was made on a budget of like...
Wasn't that less than $1 million or something?
Oh, it was made on $15,000.
Whoa, yeah.
Way
less than
$1,000 and it made $194 million.
That's crazy.
You got movies like this, right? Yeah. I don't know how much it earned domestically, but let's say it only earned 200 million. Mm-hmm. Maybe it didn't earn 200 million domestically, 100 million domestically. Yeah. That wouldn't be eligible.
But it's bullshit,
and it's one of the most profitable films ever made.
Yeah.
That is no doubt a box office achievement.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's 107 million domestically for that movie, so luckily it would have
made it.
But it's not cinematic enough.
I see. Yeah, that's the one that catches you, right?
But if we're talking about cinematic, Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, that's not really a cinematic movie.
Yeah, it's not cinematic movie. At all.
Yeah, like there's no
film language in it.
It's just popular. It's just best popular movie. It's stupid. And if I am going to be honest about this, we don't need a category for best box office achievement. The box office is the achievement. They get millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like they get that. Let the other movies that don't make so much money, that are great and deserve to be nominated, get this recognition. Not the ones that have already fucking made millions for a studio. I think it's ridiculous. But if I am going to try and predict an award for this, or predict the worthy nominee, I think Barbie will win easily. Mm-hmm. I honestly say I think Oppenheimer is the most impressive box office performance of any of these.
I think it's as equally surprising as Barbie. I think you can say a lot in retrospect to say like, oh, Barbie was always written on the wall, but I don't think it necessarily was always written on the wall. I think its potential to making a lot of money was there. Yeah. There was an argument to be made for it, but I don't think anyone was throwing around 1.4 billion.
No, I don't think they were. But I did say, I think about 5 weeks out of the release, I'm like, it's $1 billion. It's going to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
I saw it coming a little bit earlier than everyone else. So by the time the movie's released on that Barbenheimer weekend, Oppenheimer's one that blew me away. I was satisfied with Barbie. And it still is very, very impressive. But they are pretty much neck and neck. I think when I compare expectation versus the result, the disparity or the difference is greater with Oppenheimer than Barbie for any of these.
Well, yeah, especially because Oppenheimer does a lot of things that are counterintuitive to what is said to repel audiences.
Yes,
it's a long movie. There are black and white sequences. There are a lot of there's like 30 minutes straight of like people talking in a small room.
Exactly,
there's so many things in there, so many red flags to say like this doesn't hit our stats, this doesn't hit our numbers, and yet it makes nearly $1 billion.
It's at 950. It's got a couple re-releases on the way. It got approved for a Japan release.
Yeah, which could tip it.
I think it's going to hit $1 billion. And there's no, I couldn't like take me back 6 months ago. I couldn't imagine in reality where Oppenheimer made $1 billion.
Yeah,
you could always convince me that there's a Barbie movie out there that could have made $1 billion prior to the release, of course. But Oppenheimer, you just couldn't sell me on that idea that 3-hour black and white.
I did think it would make $1 billion.
Remember,
but it was very
R-rated.
That's another thing. It is R-rated.
That's why it's more of an achievement for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Barbie and Oppenheimer don't win, watch something like John Wick take this. Like
that wouldn't even make sense.
The category doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Another category that doesn't make sense, the one we're going to cover right now, that's Best Motion Picture Animated. So we got The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Suzumi, is that how I say it? The Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Wish. And I wish Wish wasn't in this because it is absolutely... this is a horrific thing. I haven't seen Nimona. I haven't seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I've seen the reception and I've seen lots of love from audiences as well for those movies, and it wasn't nominated. I've seen Wish, and I've seen people's responses to it. It's not a good movie. It's not okay. It's bad. It's poorly written.
How is it even in here?
This makes me... You always got the conspiracy theorists with this kind of stuff, but it feels like a Disney paid for this. I'm not saying I believe that.
Yeah.
But... how
it feels that way. Yeah. It's like this is our anniversary movie, and we want it to do well. So it feels like that. Again, don't actually believe that, because that would be like corruption at the highest level, and I'm sure that would never happen. But because
it's the only explanation at this point.
Corruption is impossible.
Yeah.
But
it's stupid. I mean, like, I'll give a pass Super Mario Bros. Movie. I didn't like that movie, and I think it's pretty average. But Wish is bad, and I know I'm going to love at least 6 movies before that movie in terms of the animated ones this year. Obviously, in terms of who's winning, that's going to be between The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know if Elemental is being underloved for this. Maybe it's just me that loves it as much as I do, but I think
it was just like a sleeper hit, and
I think it deserves to be or have more of a stake in this category. But yeah, perhaps I just love that more than everyone else. But Across the Spider-Verse and The Boy and the Heron are two of the best.
What do you think is higher for you, The Boy and the Heron, like on a cinematic level? Like, what do you think is more?
What do you mean cinematic? Do you mean cinematic or box office?
I mean, cinematic and box office
achievement,
and how they achieved it.
Like in terms of Boy and the Heron and Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, not what your favorite is. What you think is deserving the most of this win.
Oh, that is a tough. Actually, no, it's not tough, man. It's The Boy and the Heron. It's actually not. I might even put, now that I've thought about this, Elemental above Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse. Oh, above Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, not above The Boy and the Heron.
Right.
Across the Spider-Verse is half a story. Let's treat it like half a story.
It's Dune.
Huh?
It's Dune.
It's Dune. Dune has more of a rounded story than Across the Spider-Verse. And I think in terms, it's still a great movie. It's one of the best animated movies ever. I'll say that much. But in terms of a fully complete film, I got to give it to Boy and the Heron just for that factor alone. But you can't deny its greatness, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be the third. If it is, it's the third Oscar for Hayao Miyazaki. Because he's done, I think he won for Howl's Moving Castle and for Spirited Away.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think those are the two.
So that would be his third Oscar for Best Animated Picture.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I don't think anyone has achieved that. Maybe Pete Docter at some point.
Be between, that could be their really only contender there.
He'd probably be the only contender, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the two biggest categories of the night. Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. So we got Air, American Fiction, Barbie, The Holdovers, May December, which is in the comedy, and Poor Things.
What do you mean? May December's hilarious.
It's so funny. When we find out the truth, it's just it's actually a funny story.
It is. You're just bawling and laughing, and then all the dances they break out in, it really makes it a strong musical as well.
And then Charles Melton starts singing.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, okay. So I haven't seen Poor Things or American Fiction yet, so I can't really comment on those. But in terms of who I think is going to win this one, look, I would have said The Holdovers because I would say it's the best one here that I've seen. But I think it's Barbie because The Holdovers missed out on screenplay, missed out on director. Barbie's got that. And I think those are two of the biggest categories that support it. Otherwise, Poor Things stands a good chance at trying to rival it as well. It's either going to be between Barbie and Poor Things. May December, I think, is worthy to be to win this category for sure. I just don't think it has the support behind it. And Air is just kind of like a shoo-in for me personally. Yeah. Great movie, but not really kind of at this caliber. What about you? Or Barbie, do you think it's worthy of a win here? Like, would you be mad if it won?
I would be mad if it won if I saw Poor Things and felt it was in Holdovers and felt those were both astronomically superior.
Well, you've seen May December. So
I've seen May December.
How do you compare those two? They're very different movies.
They're extraordinarily different.
One's
movies.
a musical, one's a comedy.
No. Gosh. Yeah. This is really hard. I think they're equal.
You think they're equal?
I think they're equal.
Yeah.
I think May December does amazing things with its performances and its
They do two
characters.
very different things, eh?
Yeah, but Barbie is just it's so unique, I suppose, among what we typically get.
Yeah.
100%. That I think it does deserve praise. It does deserve praise, and it does deserve to be, in fact, in many of these categories.
Yeah,
not as many as it is.
Yeah,
but it does deserve to be many of them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it does deserve nominations in quite a few categories.
Yeah,
I would say May December is the better film. But I don't know if more deserving of the win because I think those are two different things.
Yeah,
because Barbie does stuff on a cultural level.
It does a lot of stuff on a cultural level.
You might have to think about that. Yeah.
I think it's actually a little bit limp on the like send off. I don't think it ends as strong as it could. Barbie. Yeah, for me, I wasn't really convinced by the Barbie character. It's the emotionality.
Oh no!
In what they were trying to convince me of.
Yeah,
not entirely. A lot of it, yes, but not entirely.
Yeah.
Whereas with May December, you're almost fully convinced by its message at the end and what it's saying at the end, and it throws you through a washing machine at the end. You're just sort of like, whoa, what the?
Yeah, I remember I tried to explain the plot of that movie to someone, and
wow, that would be hard.
And I was just real hard, and they were like, what do you mean? And I was just trying to explain it. And then once I'd finally got it to a place where they could comprehend, they're like, whoa, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
They weren't laughing or singing, so because it's not a musical comedy. But
I don't even know how many moments in there is even a laughable moment. There's maybe a few moments of real awkwardness.
It's just funny what happened to Charles Melton character. Clearly.
Oh, this is classic. Oh no, this is a classic
dumb,
Golden
man.
Globes. The comedy, The Martian. It's like, what?
Again, because they missed out on drama. Stop splitting into categories. Just do 12 movies if you want to do.
12 movies, one category.
Yeah,
Simple.
It's fine.
It's so easy, and then you can encompass all other genres. Wow, who knew?
Just add box office. Best motion picture, box office genre. Avatar wins everything. All right, we're going to cover the last category for the Golden Globe Awards. That's best motion picture drama. So we got Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and The Zone of Interest. Very encouraging to see The Zone of Interest. I know it won one Critics Circle Best Picture. But other than that, I think it was pretty much out of everything till now. So I'm glad it's got some momentum behind it. But yeah, Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, in the Zone of Interest, not in the English language. In Best Motion Picture Drama, that might have to be a record.
That might be a record, and it's just a good sign.
It is a great sign. But yeah, if you've been listening to the entirety of this podcast right now, you know that these movies are kind of all in this Best Motion Picture category because they've shown up everywhere in these nominations so far. But yeah, I Killers of the Flower Moon, I think, is going to win this. I don't know if Oppenheimer wins much at the Golden Globes at the end of the day. But if I have to do a number 2 for this, it's Oppenheimer. I think it's between those two to take out the win for this.
Yeah, I could definitely see a reality where Oppenheimer gets a whole bunch of nominations at the Oscars and wins nothing. Yeah,
that's hard to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I went through that with Dunkirk.
Yeah.
No, that one's hard, but I think it's a reality we might have to stomach at some point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Again, this is hard. Yeah, I mean, Killers and Oppenheimer are really the most logical picks, though. Zone of Interest is building up a lot of interest.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that was really clever.
But I mean, it's a stacked category, and you combine that with the, so to speak, musical comedy category. You got a good set of movies there. Well, the movies that were missing from both of those motion picture categories was The Color Purple. The Holdovers was missing, wasn't it? No, The Holdovers isn't. No, sorry.
No, well, The Color Purple would be part of musical or comedy.
Oh yeah. Put that in instead of May December, by the way, because that's actually a musical. But yeah.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
They had another option and they still chose May December.
Exactly. We'll move on now to the Critics' Choice Awards that was announced this morning, which would be December the 14th for us in New Zealand here. And yeah, they have their own interesting ones as well. So we are going to cover that. We're going to cover it from kind of the... we'll go from the kind of smallest category to the most important category as well, same as we did with the Golden Globes. So we'll be starting off with Best Score. And these nominations, they're quite similar to the Golden Globes, but they have their differences. So we got Jerskin Fendrix for Poor Things, Michael Giacchino for Society of the Snow, Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer, Daniel Pemberton for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon, Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt for Barbie. Barbie for score? I don't remember a single piece of music except for the songs.
Yeah, everything about the songs is what makes it.
Exactly, yeah.
This is all there is to it.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. But Barbie got 18 nominations in the Critics' Choice, so it's a pair. Expect it to come into almost all nominations here.
Yeah, I haven't seen Poor Things, so really, I mean, I think this is between Ludwig and Daniel Pemberton.
Yeah, I think they are the two that are going to be leading this one throughout the entire thing. But I have heard a lot of good stuff about the score for Society of the Snow, a movie that I want to see, and it's on Netflix soon. So, and you know, Michael Giacchino, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, sorry, but yeah, he does a lot of good stuff. Otherwise, we'll move on now.
Giacchino, that's got to be it. He did Incredibles, right?
Yeah. Giacchino. Then best song, we got "Dance the Night," Barbie. Okay.
Just Ken, Barbie.
Yeah. Peaches, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Road to Freedom and Rustin, This Wish in Wish. What was it made for Barbie? Now, I've talked a lot of shit about Wish through this little podcast special here, but This Wish, the song to be nominated in Best Song, I'm completely fine with that. I'm happy for it to get that nomination. In fact, I'd rather get the nomination over Dance Tonight by Barbie. I just don't think it's worthy of a Best Animated Feature nomination. This Wish is a good song. I think it's perfectly fine to get the nomination here. But again, my thoughts remain pretty much the same with Golden Globes because they're almost the same exact nominations.
Yeah.
What was I made for Barbie, I think, should win and will most likely win for me. Yep.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, we got Best Foreign Language Film. So we got Anatomy of a Fall. Again, it means nothing in regards to the Oscars because, one, it cannot be nominated at the Oscars for Best International Movie. Godzilla Minus One also can't be nominated for the Oscars as well.
Because Boy and Haran is being submitted instead?
Nah, Perfect Days was Japan's submission.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, who knew that? Yeah.
I know. So Anatomy of a Fall was nominated, Godzilla Minus One nominated, Perfect Days, Society of the Snow, The Taste of Things, The Zone of Interest. And yeah, The Taste of Things is France's submission, not Anatomy of a Fall. And Perfect Days is Japan's submission for Japan. So Godzilla Minus One cannot be nominated. A question for you though, do you think with the Oscars they should drop this whole like one submission per country and just the best international film kind of be nominated rather than having a submission from each country
for foreign language?
Yeah.
I think they should drop it. I think this is merely a way for them to try and push a diversity up among the applicants. But I think that, if your country is producing stellar filmmaking, why should they not be able to capitalize on having a monopoly as much as America does?
That's
America has an absolute monopoly on the Oscars.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah, they produce a lot of good films, but they completely overshadow everyone else.
It took over 70 years for a foreign film to even win Best Picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when it was clear that, for the past 70 years, absolutely stellar films since the bloody 40s, earlier.
Yeah.
Foreign films have been being produced that were exceeding that of American filmmaking.
Definitely. But honestly, it's really nice to see Godzilla Minus One. You saw it the other day.
I did.
What do you think of it?
I enjoyed it.
Take, yeah?
I enjoyed it.
Didn't love it?
I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good recreation of Godzilla, and it had a lot of. They did a lot right.
Yeah.
They did so much right.
Yeah.
But in terms of the storytelling.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on it being in this list amongst these kind of films?
Well, probably a bit pointless now that we know that it can't be.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, Oscar awarded, but I'll be honest. I'm maybe a little bit more confused why Japan doesn't push The Boy and Haran.
I don't know. And another thing, they have to submit this like a few months ago, so they have to make their submission like quite early in the game here. They can't see what's like
which is really silly.
Yeah,
it's like
it makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense to have these submissions this early, and it makes no sense for it to only be able to submit one movie. What if your country produces two fantastic movies by two fantastic directors?
That's France right now with The Taste of Things and Anatomy of a Fall.
Exactly, and it's like French cinema is absolutely vast. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's really dumb.
It is dumb. I don't understand. I would honestly think that the only reason is so there's not too much movies for the voters to watch. I would honestly say that's the only reason. But who am I to judge? Okay, so Best Animated Feature, the nominations at the Critics' Choice Awards were The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, and somehow Wish.
How is it Wish keeps sneaking its way in?
I don't know. It's paid, man. There's no other explanation. Disney is paying these critics that are doing this. I don't know. I don't have any clue. But
at least Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made it in there.
Yeah, if you get those top 5 in there, because remember only 5 nominations are for the Oscars. Yeah. So you get The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think that is a great lineup for animated.
That is a fantastic lineup.
Wish can fuck off. Honestly, I think it's going to get an Oscar nomination, and I'm going to be furious. I'm going to rage on the potty. I hate it so much. I'm sneezing over it. I don't want to talk about it. All right. We're talking about a lot of categories in this podcast, and Critics' Choice Awards decided to do Best Comedy. We'll glance over the nominations here. We got American Fiction, Barbie, Bottoms, The Holdovers, No Hard Feelings, and Poor Things. Kudos to Critics' Choice Awards for actually nominating comedies.
Yeah, I mean, where's May, December, though?
But I mean, something like Bottoms, I've heard good stuff about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, seemingly get a nomination here. I don't know if I'd classify the Holdovers as a comedy. It has comedic elements.
Maybe it's like a witty at most, like a very witty.
Yeah, it's kind of. I always compare it to Manchester by the Sea. It kind of just has those funny lines in it, and yeah, but it is quite
bit of a stretch,
heartfelt at times too. Yeah, it's a stretch. But yeah, I think this is a finalist when you're talking about best comedy.
Yeah.
All right, we got best visual effects. Thank God Ant-Man's not in this, but we do have nominated is The Creator, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer.
Did you say Oppenheimer was nominated for best visual effects?
How, right?
Yeah.
It's not even the shortlist for the Oscars. So Oppenheimer nominated, Poor Things, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Somehow, Across the Spider-Verse keeps being quite relevant in this category.
I don't understand what best visual effects means then. It must be my problem. Because then why is The Boy in Haran not on best visual effects? It's all hand animated, is it not?
Yeah.
It's all hand drawn.
But Across the Spider-Verse has better animation.
It might have more rich and interesting animation.
I mean, it does have like visual effects in it, but it's just like, I mean, how do you define that?
To me, it's really silly to put animated films in here. I can understand stop motion because it's technically practical.
Yeah.
But I cannot understand putting an animated film in here that was purely rendered internally in a computer. And no part of it is, well, I suppose actually aspects of it is live action, right?
I think I'm going to clarify that.
I really hope that's not the reason it's in this category. It's because aspects of it are live action.
It's like a few seconds. Yeah. I don't understand it, but you scratched Across the Spider-Verse. I think you got a pretty great list here. Creator, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I think it's really good.
In my opinion, I think the Creator deserves to win.
Yeah. I mean, I said it, and I think our last podcast, Creator and Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm happy for both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are the only ones that I think that are truly deserving in this category. So, yeah. All right. So we're moving on now to Best Hair and Makeup. So we've got Barbie, The Color Purple, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Priscilla. I've heard great things about Priscilla. Still yet to see it though. Same with Poor Things, but honestly, I think Maestro.
You think Maestro?
Wait, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I think Barbie's the clear winner here.
Have you've seen the trailer for Maestro? Bradley Cooper.
I have.
Doesn't look like Bradley Cooper. The transformation in there is just it's impeccable. It's so good. And it is Oscar baity. But for best hair and makeup, like what's Barbie got?
Pink.
Isn't that more in production design and costuming?
I suppose it is.
Yeah. Because that's where I would put kind of its front running status towards.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I suppose hair and makeup is a little bit more in that sort of granular detail kind of side.
Yeah, because I would even say
Maestro makes a lot of sense because also Carey Mulligan looks great in that.
Yeah, I would even say Oppenheimer's better than Barbie in terms of hair and makeup. It's way more subtle, but you get
it's a little subtle.
Young version and old versions of the characters.
Yeah.
The Color Purple though, not noteworthy in my opinion. I don't see how that really can qualify as much as the other ones here. Now we'll move on to best costuming or best costume design. Sorry. So we got Barbie, Wonka, The Color Purple, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Napoleon.
Oh, so how does Napoleon stack up here?
It's very good. I would say that the technical aspects of the film are great. The rest of the film is bad. It's not a good movie. But I think Napoleon, when it comes to costume design, I think that's worthy of the nomination. Obviously, I'd have to stack up all the movies side by side to really get a better gist of it. I think Barbie, and I haven't seen it yet, but Poor Things. Because from what I've seen in Poor Things, it looks very interesting with its costuming. And I've heard like kind of the character grows with the costuming, plays quite a key part in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barbie is a really strong competitor in this one, and obviously Killers of the Flower Moon, getting that kind of 1920s, 1930s kind of look and feel to it, especially in that time period and that era. So I think those are the key ones to look out for. Wonka, thoughts?
Nah. It doesn't do enough. It sticks in one location really for the most part, in one town. It doesn't do enough. And, there's such a richness to the original.
Yeah.
To the original costuming. That, no. Yeah, it's pretty standard, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, best editing. So we got Air. What? Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Maestro. I don't know why Air's in here. Barbie's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know anything noteworthy.
Yeah, what about its editing is really the selling point? That's strange.
No clue. Oppenheimer, obviously that's quite flashy.
I mean, Anatomy of a Fall is far more worthy of being here in editing.
Yes, bro. Anatomy Fall's really good with it, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one's actually that's actually a snub. I love Anatomy Fall's editing.
Yeah.
I don't know why Barbie and Air are in this category, but honestly, I think it's going to be Killers of the Flower Moon. Regardless, one, it's a 3.5 hour movie. To make that something that I guess people can watch is a challenge in itself, and I think it does it in a really good way. I came out of Killers of the Flower Moon and like, oh, that could have been an hour longer, and I probably still wouldn't have noticed the runtime.
Yeah.
So, and just the way it kind of builds its story, the pacing's just phenomenal in it. Oppenheimer is obviously very good. Maestro is not. I don't think Maestro's got good editing. I think it's perfectly. Actually, no. Editing might be one of the worst parts.
I swear to God, editing tends to be one of the most
wackiest.
Yeah, wackiest. Like, what do people even understand what they're voting for here? Kind of category.
Bohemian Rhapsody. I've lost all respect for best editing in the Oscars because of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Correct.
Do you remember that one scene? It's got I think 34 cuts in a minute or something like that, or in 30 seconds or something. It's ridiculous.
Honestly, those cuts aside, the movie itself, very, very standard editing. There's nothing particularly special about it. I'd put Rocket Man above it in terms of editing.
Oh, 100%.
It's just so standard.
Oh, it's a weird one. There's a lot of weird nominations in this best editing category. So we'll move on now to best production design. So we've got Saltburn, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, Poor Things, and Asteroid City. Still yet to see Asteroid City, actually. But from what I've seen from the promotional material, it's very good. Saltburn, it's a surprise to be sure, considering the movie has been quite divisive with its reception from the critics. But it's still really good. So I'm glad it's actually got the nomination. Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, and Poor Things, they're all very good. Very, very good. I haven't seen Poor Things, obviously, but
Poor Things is going to be an interesting one because it has such a unique style to it.
I've seen just so much good stuff in terms of its production design.
It's you can't
very
even describe
interesting.
it. It's almost like this steampunk gothic look.
Yeah, it's like a but 19th century kind of vibe to it as well.
Yeah, like steam gothic.
Yeah,
it's so weird, late 18th century, semi-Victorian, just very peculiar, offbeat looking weirdness.
It's so great, and I mean, I saw a still, and it's like the brothel of in a movie, or in Poor Things, sorry, and the windows are cock shaped. Yeah, and I'm like, I mean, that's just cool. I mean, it's not like I, love it or anything, but it's just, it makes the movie far more interesting when it just has that extra layer of detail within the kind of the backdrop to what the characters are in. It's the best way I'll say it. Don't give me that look. But yeah, so I think that's probably going to be the front runner heading into front runner alongside Barbie. Barbie obviously deserves production design quite a bit.
Really, to be honest, I felt the production design of Barbie to be not as impressive as the costuming.
Ooh.
I thought it kind of looked a bit cheap.
I think it's intentionally meant to look cheap.
I know. There's a level of it,
of our world,
but you can make a good looking, cheap looking world.
True, but I also think like the narrative that they kind of ran out of like that color shade of pink paint, like they took out the like world storage or some shit like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there was like a low shortage across the globe because of it. I think that might play a part in it.
Oppenheimer to me was very, very, very impressive.
True.
And its production.
Yeah, I mean they built a Los Alamos and then shot parts of it in the real Los Alamos and like the heritage buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Oppenheimer will go under the radar because it's so like real. And
it's
not,
so
like,
real, but it's the presentation of Oppenheimer for me. It's really how it's presented. Like at no point throughout the film are you pulled away from feeling it feeling like a modern recreation, like it's in modern day.
Yeah.
Poor Things probably might feel the same way actually, but and maybe Killers.
Yeah. Yeah, Killers is very good as well. Very large sets built for that one. But honestly, from what I've seen from Poor Things, I'm just really loving the direction.
I'm very
of
interested to see it. It's my honestly, I'm so it's one of my most anticipated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those movies where you'll be watching it and you'll be like noticing like different things in the frame, just kind of in the background on those sets. I think, which kind of makes it or like elevates the material a bit.
Yeah.
Best cinematography. So we got Matthew Labadacue for Maestro, Rodrigo Prieto for Barbie. Okay. Rodrigo Prieto again for Killers of the Flower Moon. We got Robbie Ryan for Poor Things, Linus Sandgren for Saltburn, and Hoyt van Hoytema for Oppenheimer. I really love this list outside of the Barbie one.
Yeah. I don't think Barbie's cinematography was actually... I don't know, maybe there's a certain film language to it that
it's surprising, shocking.
That's clever that I'm missing, but I think for me, a lot of it is the sets that really let me down on Barbie's visual presentation. I don't think there's like a few standout scenes, Barbie like standing in that black void and like
you do have stuff like that, yeah,
stuff like that, and like the homage thing right at the start to Stanley Kubrick, but. Other than that, there's really not much to it that's particularly like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much the exact same. And I have seen all of these except for Poor Things, and I really did love all of them from a cinematography level. Like, Maestro, Killers, Saltburn, and Oppenheimer, they're really, really good. I don't see Barbie taking out that final spot when it comes to the Oscars. Yeah. We'll move on now to Best Adapted Screenplay. So now we're dividing the screenplay categories. So we got Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, All of Us Strangers, American Fiction, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon. And I've only seen 2 of these, and that's Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
Oh, because you've seen Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Yeah. So I haven't seen really enough to make I guess... extensive comment on this, but I still believe that the winners of this will either be Oppenheimer or Killers of the Flower Moon at the end of the day. These other ones I don't think stand a chance. Perhaps Poor Things. Perhaps. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I was just scanning over and I was like, where's the Holdovers? And then I realized it's original.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's going to be between... Interesting. Look, there's no Barbie and adapted.
It's an original. Somehow.
I think it's probably going to go to Oppie or Killers. I mean, it's a boring answer, but it's true.
Yeah. They probably are the best written ones as well, but
I
can't say that until I've seen it myself. So we'll move on now to Best Original Screenplay. So we got May, December, Air, Maestro, Barbie, The Holdovers, and Past Lives. And for this one, I have seen all of them.
Good.
And if I had to make my pick, my personal pick, it's got to be The Holdovers for me. They're just those characters feel so real, complex, and nuanced in a way that none of the other movies can really do. Perhaps May December.
I was going to say May December pretty much fits that category.
May December would be a close second for me, with Past Lives in third. The other ones are kind of weak. Yeah. Barbie has its strong points, but I think it's doing too much to really do anything at all.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I do love the Holdovers to. I don't know to win this one. I just feel like Barbie's going to get a lot of things because it's been nominated for everything in the Critics' Choice. But obviously the Holdovers and Past Lives, I think they play a strong chance to win this category.
Fair.
Yeah. Because you've seen May December and
there's
Barbie.
almost no point in me commenting on this.
You've seen Past Lives as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few of them. I've seen 4 of them there, but I've not seen the Holdovers, and that's a number one for you. So I really, really, really need to watch it.
Definitely get on to that one.
Yeah. All
right. So for Best Director, we have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Greta Gerwig for Barbie, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Alexander Payne for The Holdovers, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. So almost the same as the Golden Globes, just swapping Celine Song for Past Lives for Alexander Payne and The Holdovers. Otherwise, they are basically the same.
Yeah.
And again, I think director... unless Barbie or Poor Things start gathering massive momentum, I only think it's between Christopher Nolan and Martin Scorsese. I don't think there's anyone in the conversation right now that are a threat to those two.
Other than maybe Yorgos?
Potentially. I need to see how things plan out a little bit more, but I honestly think that those two directors are the only ones that are actually going to win or have a chance of winning at this point. Yeah. I would probably put Greta above Yorgos right now. But that's only because Barbie's got 18 nominations. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the Iron Claw's not in this at all. Did the critics see this?
Yeah.
Have they seen this movie? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's and that really ties into the follow-up category as well.
Yes. I just saw Best Acting Ensemble and it reminded me. But I'm now mad because...
Yeah, it's quite triggering, I mean, you could almost predict this based on the casting, the pre-casting, just looking at that casting.
Yeah. But, so, for the nominations for Best Acting Ensemble, we got Air, Barbie, The Color Purple, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer. Air over The Iron Claw? I don't really know. And The Iron Claw is not full of, well-knowns or A-listers. But man, just that ensemble, it's so good.
Yeah.
They all work so well together. Oh, I love that movie. And the fact that it hasn't gotten a single nomination makes me believe that these nominations were submitted prior to critics actually seeing the film. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of this acting ensemble, obviously Barbie's really good. Color Purple's, they're all very, very good. Oppenheimer, though, I would say Oppenheimer is probably the best one out of these. Would you say it's better over Barbie?
Yeah, I would say it's better over Barbie, but I don't know. What about the Holdovers? You think about the more granular acting there.
The Holdovers, perhaps, but it's just three main characters or three characters. But when I hear the word acting ensemble, I think of a massive or a big ensemble of at least 5+. Holdovers doesn't have that. It's just really really great 3 performances there.
Yeah.
So that's why I wouldn't consider it as much of a competitor in this category as something like Oppenheimer or even Killers of the Flower Moon.
I mean, technically a great acting ensemble this year is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Would you consider that great acting?
I would say it's a great ensemble.
Interesting.
Because it is. It's a fantastic ensemble of actors.
Yeah.
And they're all utilized to their best abilities.
That's true.
But it's a comic book movie as well.
Yeah, then they're not going to do that one. The color purple, I think, deserves way more consideration. Obviously, I hope Oppenheimer wins. I think it's the best one in this category. But yeah, I really do love the Iron Claw. At least it's chances for that one. Because you made the point, I think, last week that the difference was that the Iron Claw is not A-listers. It's not like Oppenheimer. It's just these bunch of like semi-unknown or these up-and-coming actors.
Yep.
But they've done so well. Yeah. And I've seen it now after that comment, and I'm like, yep, that's it. That's it. Because you don't expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oppenheimer, like, you see those actors like,
you're like, you see this absolute like crazy cast, and you're like, yeah.
I think that's a lot of what acting ensemble really is. It's just like the best actors that are chosen, not the best cast for the roles of the characters and how they work in the film.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we'll skim over this one. We got Best Young Actor or Actress. So we got Abby Ryder Fortson for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. We got Ariana Greenblatt for Barbie. We got Carla Lane for Wonka. Milo Mercado Grana for Anatomy of a Fall. We got Dominic Sessa for The Holdovers. And we got Madeline Univols for The Creator.
I feel like you're going to say Dominic Sessa, right? Or
Milo. I don't know. I would probably say Dominic Sessa because he's a lead. Or like, he doesn't know. He's more supporting, but he's very, very close to a lead character. I think I haven't seen Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, but I've seen the others. And Dominic Sessa has the biggest role, and he's very, very good.
Yeah. Abby Ryder Fortson is like as lead as you get.
So she's pretty much kind of the lead in that.
She is like,
because I know,
she's like the Oppenheimer in Oppenheimer.
Because Rachel McAdams is the supporting actress.
She's a supporting actress, and so is Ben Safdie as a supporting actor.
So how good's Abby in that movie?
Oh, she's great. She feels like a kid, and she's going through a lot of the whole movie is essentially about her trying to. Her mother's was raised Catholic, I think, and her father is a Jew. Wow. And it's kind of about her grappling with religion, whether or not she truly believes or not. So it's coming of age and about a girl sort of grappling with those things and all the other feelings. Right. So yeah, she provides a lot of subtlety in it.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I'll see that before.
Yeah, whereas I have not seen Dominic Sessa in Holdovers, so I don't really know.
You've seen all the others, though, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I would, judging from what you say, it would probably be between those two then.
Yeah.
Although Milo definitely deserves some kind of like recognition or
I would agree.
Mention. Yeah.
He does play quite a small role in that film, though.
That is the thing, yeah. And it's nice to see Madeline Univols nominated for The Creator. I remember coming out of that movie and being like, that might be my favorite performance out of the entire film. It's her performance. She was really good.
She was probably one of the better parts of the film's narrative and the acting and throughout it.
And she's like really young. It's like she's like a child. Far more than the other ones who are kind of, coming of age. She's properly a child.
And she's pulling out those emotional things while John David Washington is like a wet carrot.
The protagonist.
The protagonist. Best describes him.
He's never going to escape that name.
I know.
He's just the protagonist.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day where I see him act.
The fact that, Madeline Univols was better than John David Washington, she might deserve the award for that alone. Yeah. Ariana Greenblatt, Barbie?
Such a small role, and she kind of just plays a shithead teenager the whole time.
Pretty much.
Anyone can do that role.
Yeah. And not Carla Lane for Wonka.
She did a great role in Wonka, but again, I think her character is written very, kind of one-dimensionally. She's just some, sappy orphan kid you're supposed to root for and feel for and stuff, and there's no sort of conflict there for you to really like feel anything else about.
Yeah.
Wonka has a character problem. It's not her fault. It's not Carla's fault. It really comes down to the character writing.
Yeah, no, that's very true. All right, move on to Best Supporting Actress. We got Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Inyad, Julianne Moore for May December, and Davine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Obviously, I think Davine Joy Randolph is going to win this because she seems to be winning everything. It's good to see Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple get another nomination here. Julianne Moore as well. I really love both of their performances. Emily Blunt just seems kind of like your slapstick Oscar nomination for this. No chance of winning, no chance at not getting a nomination.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, she's just there as a nod, and it's like, I liked the scene where you decided not to shake Ben Safdie's hand.
Yeah, or the moment where you drank martinis or something like that.
Which moment was that? The whole movie?
Yeah, she just does it so well. America for Barbie. I originally thought that she was going to get the nomination for Barbie, but losing a lot of steam, gets the nomination here, which is big for her. Worthy of an Oscar nomination for that role.
Not really, no.
Even with the monologue scene?
Well, the monologue, again, heavy emphasis on monologue. It's the writing of that scene that really is the powerful part. It's the context of those words.
So it's not America putting it through?
America does a good job delivering it, but that does not make her performance of the character universally great.
Yeah.
I think that monologue scene is great because it's written very, very well.
You're exactly correct. And I've seen a lot of people voice support for Ferrera's performance because of the monologue. And I'm like, a performance is more than a monologue. You don't get nominated for a scene, you get nominated for the performance.
Yes.
And the fact that in that scene, the writing is what's carrying the scene. It's not America, even though she did a good job.
She did a really good job doing it, and she provides a lot of emotional, heavy weight to that scene.
Yeah.
But then again, there are plenty of scenes Margot Robbie's providing emotional weight.
Exactly.
she is, and you can hear it in her voice. Her voice starts breaking up, just the same as America Ferrera. And just because your voice starts breaking up in a scene, it doesn't make it an Oscar-worthy role.
Yeah.
It was really just that one scene that defines her entire performance there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Best Supporting Actor. We got Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, Charles Melton for May December, Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. So almost the exact same from the Golden Globes, except we're swapping out Willem Dafoe for Poor Things for Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction.
Yeah.
And honestly, you get rid of the Sterling K. Brown nomination. I think those are your 5 nominees for the Oscars. Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Charles Melton, and Mark Ruffalo.
The only real contenders are Charles Melton and Robert Downey Jr. with the potential.
I think Ryan Gosling.
Of Ryan Gosling.
For Critics' Choice. Critics' Choice seem to love Barbie for some reason. Massively. Because it got 80 nominations. The next movie, which I think was Poor Things and Oppenheimer, which got 13. So that's a big difference between 1 and 2. Ryan Gosling, I think, will win this one. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. or perhaps a surprise Charles Melton might get in there. Yeah. Could be very interesting to keep a lookout for. Move on now to Best Actress. We got Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Greta Lee for Past Lives, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, Margot Robbie for Barbie, Emma Stone for Poor Things. Why is Margot Robbie in this?
Because you said it yourself, the Critics' Choice love Barbie.
We have Natalie Portman missing out here.
Correct.
That makes absolutely no sense to me. Margot Robbie does not have a dominant performance in Barbie that supersede these other ones.
Certainly doesn't supersede Natalie Portman.
Exactly, which blows my mind. And the fact that one of these performances is going to be cut out because Oscars only do 5.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal because it's such a deeply competitive year for Best Actress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly,
and even Best Supporting Actress, it's extremely competitive.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
I honestly think, Lily Gladstone, Sandra Huller, Carey Mulligan, Emma Stone, Natalie Portman, such good performances.
Yeah.
Anyone could win, and I would be absolutely happy with them. Greta Lee and Margot Robbie being here, they got to go out. You got to add Natalie Portman and leave the rest because it's so stacked.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah. Margot Robbie might win that, but I think Lily Gladstone's got the Best Actress locked up unless something else continues to happen. All right, we're going to the second to last category for this one. So we got Best Actor, and that's Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Leonardo DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction.
Definitely nowhere near as competitive, I think, as Best Actress.
Not at all, but those take out Jeffrey Wright, and I think those are your 5 nominations for the Oscars. I think that's pretty clear. But who wins between Cooper, DiCaprio, Giamatti, and Murphy? I have zero clue.
I genuinely could not tell you.
Yeah.
Because in some way, they all sort of deserve to win, but also there is none there where I think I could say that is an absolute lock. Like, there's no questions. I don't think there's a performance in there that's good enough for me to like scream my lungs out and say, no, it should be them.
Yeah. And, I haven't seen Coleman Domingo yet or Jeffrey Wright, but from those 4 that I mentioned, they all kind of do different things in their roles.
Yeah.
And it's really going to depend on which way, that branch of the Academy kind of leans towards. I honestly have no clue. But at the same time, I'm also happy if any of them win.
Yeah.
Because they're so great in their own way. Yeah, it's still a very competitive category. It's not as stacked as Actress, but those top 4, they're such heavyweights in this category that either of them could clearly win unless we start seeing a front runner in these in the winners of these award precursors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Best Picture. So we got
8 categories. Or 8 nominees.
Is it 8?
I think it is.
I think it's 10. Yeah, it's 10.
Oh, it's 10.
Yeah, so we got American Fiction, Barbie, The Color Purple, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and Saltburn.
Well, that's a lot to remember off a list like that.
Saltburn is very interesting. I guess it really needed it to stay quite competitive in these award ceremonies. Again, I'll tell you for the second time in this potty, watch Saltburn. I really want to know your opinion. It's really weird. I don't see it making much. I don't even know if it might get nominated for the Oscars because it's just so weird for the Academy to go that direction. But
have you seen I Care a Lot? I Care a Lot.
No,
it has Rosamund Pike in it. I was thinking maybe it is sort of like at that similar vibe with Saltburn, where it's this sort of like weird character.
I really don't know how to describe it. If you had to give a comparison, I would just say it's like a teenage version of Parasite, perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah, but in kind of a weird, fucked up kind of way.
That sounds really interesting, and I want to see it.
It is interesting. I just don't know if it'll work or click together for you.
Okay.
Because I'm still mixed on it. But I did love some aspects. But yeah, from these Best Picture nominees here, what's missing is Anatomy of a Fall and The Zone of Interest, which got the Golden Globe nomination for. I don't think I saw either of those two, except for acting, in this category. Especially Zone of Interest. I don't think it's been in here at all. In the Critics' Choice, which is odd because I look at Metacritic and I look at Rotten Tomatoes and it seems like critics really loved the Zone of Interest and it's not in here, which is, it's very surprising. But, I think the ones that snuck in here, Color Purple and Saltburn.
To think that, Saltburn can, overtake like the Zone of Interest and Iron Claw.
Anatomy of a Fall. And Iron Claw. I fully forgot about that one, yeah.
It's quite surprising. It's quite surprising. And, in Anatomy of a Fall, as you said.
Yeah.
Surprising. That's all I can say.
It's very surprising, but it honestly looks like we have at least 13 to 15 movies that are competitive in the Oscars, which is just great to see. And it honestly makes everything a lot more fun for all of us, for people that love film, because, you know, it's so boring going to the Oscars and you're like, yep, that's won that. This movie's won that. And that one, you just kind of know.
And then you watch the Oscars and they do, and then you maybe get one wrong, and then it was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's hopefully these award precursors don't have just that one front runner for the entirety of all of them.
Yeah.
And then we can just kind of go into the Oscars and be like, okay, I don't know who's going to win all these categories, but I'm making these
genuinely
guesses.
Don't.
Yeah.
I genuinely couldn't tell you who's going to win Best Actor or who's going to win Best Director or who's going to win Best Picture.
Let's hope it stays that way, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's our coverage of the Critics' Choice Awards nominations and the Golden Globes nominations. Turned out to be quite a long MG special. Imagine if that was in a Let's Be Real episode. That would be...
We would just have to do Golden Globes and cut the rest.
Pretty much. But yeah, no, we're going to be covering the awards and the race to the Oscars quite closely. You can go on moviegames.com. We're going to have a precursor tracking list there. You're going to see all the winners from all the little ceremonies, the big ceremonies, and everything in between. So make sure you go check that out. Otherwise, find us on YouTube and Twitter. Subscribe, follow, message, do all that fun stuff as well. Also, be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Otherwise, we're going to catch you on a Let's Be Real episode in the coming weekend. Not sure what day we're doing it. We're also going to be doing our most anticipated as well. We're going to have a nice little short list of our MG Awards coming soon as well. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next one. See you next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.